Well, we came down to Caleta to look at a car for Sue, and we've just been to the Atlantico Centre for a coffee in Caleta, so I'm going to have a little walk. The roundabout's made a noise. I'm going to have a little walk along the front and show you what it's like here at the moment now that tourists are trickling back. Unfortunately, Sue won't drive my car. She's funny like that. So, as we're parked up here at the Atlantico Centre, I intend to walk around towards the harbour. I don't know whether I'll get that far or not. I suggested to her, well, why don't you drive round to the harbour and I'll meet you there? Oh no, she won't do that. So I've got to walk all the way to the harbour and all the way back again. For those of you that don't know Caleta, the Atlantico Centre over here, and some of the hotels. This is the southern end of Caleta. And we have tourists on the beach. A bit of a debate with myself as to whether or not to actually say what I think of Caleta. If I do, it'll probably upset a few people that love it here. But you know me, I do tell it as it is, well, as I see it. Just my opinion, of course. Perhaps I will later in the video. People in the water. It's a funny day today because it's very hot, very humid, and there's this layer of cloud, almost like a kalima, but not quite. So it's well into the 30s at the moment. Grounds of a hotel. I haven't got a clue which hotel or hotels they are, because I've never stayed in one. Well, I've decided I'm going to say what I think of Caleta. I think when I get round this headland, I will. Stand by to lose some subscribers, JP. This massive tract of land that hasn't been developed here. Yeah, which is quite amazing really, because I mean that must be worth a fortune. I'm sure there's lots of hotel chains that would love to acquire that and build hotels on it. Why it's never happened, I really don't know, because everything else has been developed here. Like this developed from nothing 40 years ago. This was just a little stretch of coastline. There was nothing here whatsoever first. It's not like a lot of the resorts, Corralejo and places like that, El Cotillo, that were villages and they developed. Here it was just nothing. And actually that brings me on to one of the things I don't like about Caleta, and that is, and this is a good place to show it, if you can see, if I look around there, there's virtually nothing along the front here. It's very difficult to even go for a coffee or something and see the sea, because all the big hotel chains bought up all the land and built and developed all along the front. To go to a restaurant or a bar or something, you have to go just inland behind the hotels, so you never get a sea view or anything like that, which is a bit of a shame really, because the sea view is a draw for people. It's nice to sit and have a drink or a coffee and look at the sea, but you just, well, I say you can't do it. Just there, you might be able to see it says beach cafe. There's a beach cafe there and another little restaurant, I think, and then there's sort of nothing all the way around there. There is one little restaurant over there, and then the next place is actually in the marina, and that's part of the hotel, and it's pretty expensive, I think. I mean, what a great shame that is. So that's the number one, or not the number one, that is one of the things that I don't like about Caleta. I mean, because there was nothing here before Caleta started, and if you're interested in seeing what it was like 33 years ago, I'll put a little card, link, and one in the description of a video I made 33 years ago when I came here, when there was virtually nothing. I've said it before, but when I came here 33 years ago, there was the marina, there was the hotel next to it, and there's the castle, Castillo there. Then there was a little tiny sort of shopping square with 2 restaurants and 2 shops in it. And then there was absolutely nothing. Going all the way back, it was empty until you got over to here. And there were 2 rows of bungalows where we stayed. And we just had to walk across the beach, such as it was, then to go for a meal in the evenings. And there was nothing here. All of this was just empty. Chipmunk Mountain there was nothing there. It was just a hill. All of this, the golf courses, the hotels, there was nothing else here. Every night we walked to the little square, my ex-wife and I and my son, and said, right, are we going to eat there or are we going to eat there? Because that was the choices. It's certainly developed since then. I mean, in contrast to here, Corralejo for instance, you can walk all the way along the seafront from the harbour and beyond, all the way to the beaches, and there's some nice little restaurants and cafes and bars that you can sit in and have a drink. Well, there's one thing about video in here. There's no nudity on these beaches, some topless perhaps, but that's it. So I don't have to worry about the video getting demonetized on YouTube. Okay, so the next thing I don't like about Caleta. I've seen it written, because it was in forums and what have you, about how people think that Caleta's got beautiful beaches. Well, to me, Caleta doesn't have a beach. It has what I would term beach-themed areas, because all of this is man-made. I mean, originally you just had the sea and a little bit of slightly pebbly, slightly sandy beach, if you want to call it that just went for a few yards from the sea. But they've imported all of this sand, flattened this area and turned it into this beach-themed area. And I don't know whether you can see, but if you look down there, the sand isn't very good. There's lots of these very sharp little shells and things in it, because a couple of years ago they spent a lot of money revamping the beach. They got rid of all the old sand and they brought in hundreds of lorry loads of sand, and all this sand was actually dredged from the main port in Puerto, because it needed dredging, and got dumped here. And it can be a bit sharp on your feet. It's not particularly nice to lie on. When you look at just how many beautiful beaches there are on this island, natural beaches, that I think it's a bit of a shame to call this a beautiful beach. And also, you have all these things that personally I hate on a beach: umbrellas, sunbeds, toilets, showers. To me, a lovely beach is a totally natural beach. All of this sort of smacks of, I don't know, having to have your holiday organised for you. Have everything laid on a plate. Well, as you can see, there are some tourists. There's a few Spanish voices I can hear. Let's head up here. Yeah, so you do have this little centre here. And there's a beach cafe there, which is open, yep. And a restaurant there, pizza restaurant. And there's something else over there, but that's pretty much it, really. Oh, suddenly got much hotter. The sun's come out properly. I can feel the temperature's probably gone up 5 degrees in the last few hundred metres. So things are starting to open. I mean, the restaurants here are closed still, because I guess there just isn't enough business for them to open yet. But then I think they do struggle a bit, some of the places here in Caleta, because there's so many all-inclusive hotels where people just don't go out and buy food or drink. They just eat and drink in the hotel all the time, which isn't good for local businesses. Well, surprisingly, it seems more dead up this end of the beach than it does at the other end. Not quite sure why that is, really, because there's lots of, beyond the hotels, there's lots of apartment complexes and what have you, stretching all the way back. So you'd think this part would actually be the busiest, but it isn't. So I'm not so sure I'm going to walk all the way to the harbour, because, well, there's not that much to see, really. So I'll just give you one last look. And I'll say goodbye. Sorry if I've upset any Caleta lovers. Feel free to leave comments in the comments section about why you like it and why I'm wrong, because it is only my opinion. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.